Okay, so for this example, we're given the equation and then we're asked to find the stuff. So for here we have the x is leading, so that means it's going to be this one right here. And that's kind of the first thing you want to figure out, is it which one of these two things that you have, so that you know which way to orientate your A and your B. You mentioned you're having a hard time finding A and B. But it's not terrible at all. They're just right there in the denominator. So A is going to be 2 and B is going to be 3. And you just have to figure out which one of these orientations it is by which letter is leading. So it's leading in X, and so the orientation is going to be parallel to X. If it's leading in Y, the orientation is parallel to Y. So we got this guy right here, and we know our A and we know our B. With that, we can come down here, use this relationship, and get C. To find all this stuff, again, I totally believe that the best way to do that is to graph. Oops. There we go. And get back in my window here. Okay, so we know our center is at -3, -3. So let me get that over here. And then our A is 2, and then this thing is running parallel to X. So that's going to put one vertex right there and one vertex right there. So let me get that written down so I don't forget. So that means we have a vertex at x is -5, y is -3, and x is -1, y is -3. Oops, I forgot my negative. Keep forgetting that negative. Okay, and then let's get the other side of the box drawn just to do that. So B would be, B would be 3. So that would mean we were here and here. And I won't draw out the box, but it would be right through those points. And then our hyperbola would be opening to the sides. Once I know those two dimensions, I can find C over here. So we know that a squared plus b squared is c squared. And we know that a is 2 and b is 3. So this is 4. 2 squared would be 4, 3 squared would be 9 equals c squared. So we know that c is going to be square root of 13. So here's where I like having this picture, because I have a really hard time getting these ordered pair correct if I don't sketch it out. So root 13 is going to be, square root 9 is 3, square root 16 is 4. So root 13 is probably like, I don't know, 3.5, 3.6, something like that. We'll call it 3.5 for graphing purposes over here. And it's measured from the center to the vertex. And let me grab, where are those notes? So you can see on there, from the center to the focus is your C. So where that's going to go here is basically like right there and right there. So we're going like, actually 3.6 right there, sorry, and right there. So 1, 2, 3.5 boxes one way, 1, 2, 3.5 boxes the other way. So I like having that so that when I look at this line and I have to try to get the foci ordered pairs, I can see kind of what I'm doing. The y on both of these is going to be -3. So I'll just go ahead and toss that in. So what I'm doing is I'm working on this x. So for this first one, I'm starting right here at -3 and counting plus root 13 to the right. So we're saying from -3, I'm going to go about 3.6 units to the right, and that gets me to that point. And then for this one, we're starting at -3 and going about the 3.6 to the left. So this would be -3, and then we're saying minus root 13, which again is just that distance right here. So we're starting here, and then we're going that much further that way. But that, to me, is why you draw this, is so that you can get those points figured out. And then the only other thing we have to do is find the equations of the asymptotes. So again, come back here and look at what this says. I'm going to write it out right here. So y minus k equals plus or minus b over a x minus h. So we know that a is 2, we knew that b was 3, and then we know our hk. I just look right there in the equation because there they are. So this is going to be y plus 3, and there's our k, equals plus or minus. And for putting it in on the homework, you just do the positive one first and the negative one second. But b over a is 3 halves, and then x plus 3 right there. So there's your vertice, your foci, and your asymptotes. And you might, if you check the answer on one of these, you'll see they simplified all this out. I double checked, you do not have to. You can put it in just like that, except for have one positive and then do the exact same thing with the negative. The computer will take that answer. So that is basically how those go. Again, can't not overemphasize the importance of just doing that much of a graph. It's so much easier to get all of the information if you can see it, at least for me.